Today we're going to start a new men's shirt, and I've been making a number of these shirts. I made about, this will be my fourth one using this pattern here from Mimi G's Simplicity pattern number 8427. And what I've done is I've taken, my cat jumped up here and tore up the pattern, so I went and transferred the entire pattern onto a more durable type of cloth paper. It's really more of a cloth material that I bought at Joann's. And so then I went through and I took all the pieces and I marked them to reflect what was on the original garment. So let's just look at this piece here first. This is the back without the yoke. So the yoke would go up here, so that's without the yoke. Now, one of the things here is where the pleat goes. The other thing to notice about it is that we're going to cut one of them on the fold, and this is pattern piece 3. And so when you cut on the fold is here, right? So I folded the fabric, look. See, it's just folded fabric, so it's folded in half. So what you do is you wash the fabric first, and then you iron it, and then fold it in half. And so that the seam, the threads are going in this direction and in this direction. So that's, I think it's called the warp, and I forgot what, wep. So when you see lines on your pattern, and you may know this already, but I'm just reviewing some things, then you have to go with the grain of the fabric, see? So if you look at the fabric grain, it's there. So here's all of them have this on there. So I transferred that onto each piece. So this is the back, so it's going to get cut from here around. I'll cut it like this and around here, and see, this is the notches that I've transferred on there. So this notch will line up with this notch. And another thing I did is when I made this, I added a couple of inches. There was a line here in the middle that was your waistline, and what I did is I added about 2 inches, because when I tried on the first shirt, I realized that it was too short, and the shoulders were right, but because I'm kind of a long body, where most people that have this shoulder length are shorter, then I have longer arms, so that's why, and I have shorter legs. So knowing all that, that's why I made it a couple inches longer. And so here's the pocket, which is number 2, but I'm only going to cut 1, so you only put 1 left pocket on there. And here again, you can see these 2 dots will line up with the sleeve dots, and these will line up with the top up here of the yoke. So this one lines up with this one. So that's how it works. And so you can take a look here. Here are my scissors, just to tell you a little bit about scissors. This scissors is for cutting paper. So you don't use, like, what you do is you don't cut paper and cloth with the same scissors. You use one for paper and one for cloth. And that's because what will happen is both of them will get dull. And then these are my little scissors that I like. Show you those. Doing this one-handed. But yeah, these are real good for snipping and working in close spaces. And like all these little notches here, you could cut them out like with these little tiny scissors. And those are really good for that. And then this is for like longer lengths. So if I'm cutting a big long length over here, I might use these, or right here I would use these, because you can take nice long strokes with the scissors. So when you're cutting, you know, you can go further with each stroke. So when you're cutting long straight lines, those are really good. And then anything that's a little bit curvy and in between, I use these. And these are Ginger scissors from Germany. And so are these. And this I just got from, I bought it at antique store actually. And I thought they were nice scissors, so I bought them. And they were only like a couple bucks. And so here, this is the barrel cuff. And this is the top of the neck collar. And this is the bottom of the neck collar. And then here, we have the sleeves, which I did make a little longer, but then I feel that they are too long. So I'm actually going to shorten it a little bit. So when I cut it, I'm going to cut off an inch. And so that's that. And see, here's the dots that will line up over here with this dot. See that dot? And then there should be a dot right there. Yeah. So those dots will line up. So all these dots, you've got to pay attention to too. And then these are all my machines. I put them away when I'm cutting and then bring them back out as I'm needing them. So this one is my regular sewing machine. This is my embroidery machine, which is a Brother 770. And this is my serger, and then this one is a cover stitch serger. It's a serger, it's the same thing, it's just that this one is set up for cover stitching and this one is set up only for serging. This one can only do serging. This one can do serging and cover stitching. So those are the machines. Yeah, this is interfacing here. So what you do is after I cut all of these out, what I'll do is I will cut the ones that need interfacing with this stuff. You see how it has little bubbles on it? I don't know if you can see that. Those little bubbles, when you heat them on the iron, they stick to the fabric. So this side is the side that will go to the fabric side. And so that's that. So another interesting little piece that I learned on this particular shirt is this placket, which I really like. And you put interfacing from here to here, and then you fold it. And so here is a shirt that I've done already. This is my Levi jacket that I might have, if you've seen any of my videos, I've shown this. I made this with my embroidery machine and my regular sewing machine. And I used the serging in there, some serger. So, yeah, so that's that. But this is what the placket makes. So, right here. So this over here, so you see how that looks like that? That's made from this here piece. And so that's what that is. So of the pieces, you have your sleeve. This is a little loop that goes in the back here of the jacket. I mean of the shirt. Right here, see that little loop? That's what that is. And this time I think I'm going to make it tighter than I made this one. So this one, I'm going to make it so that it's just like a 1/4 inch higher. So it's not so loopy. And this is the pleats that go into the back of the shirt. And that's done here. Let's see, where is that? That is here. That's this pleat right here. So this will fold like that, and then you sew over it. And this side is the side that's folded. What you see is this side, and then because it's double thick, you see that side. So that looks like that when you get done. Now here I did some, and I'm not sure I'll do this again, but I might experiment with it. What I did is I used some more fancy type of a stitch just to give this a designer detail. And you can see it here. Let's see, right there. Yeah, you see designer detail I added. And that's on my machine, and I can do that. And then so here's the buttons. I used a slightly different color button, and then you try to get the buttons. I hand sewed the buttons on because I find that the machine sewing doesn't do quite the same job, and it only takes, like, to put on a button, you just loop it 4 times, and then you make a shank. So you just go around it 4 times, and then come through, and then you tie it off. So it's really quick to put these buttons on by hand. So here. So we're going to cut it all out, and to cut, basically I'll cut here and cut around and cut around. And I'll cut it all out. It'll take me probably about 15 minutes to cut all this out, and then this is the cuff, and then we'll get started on it. So I'll probably be using these scissors, and you notice this here, there's different ways you can pin this down, or you could use a weight. Some people use washers like that you get from Home Depot. They're pretty heavy. They're probably a little heavier than the scissors. But what I do is I just find whatever I can find. I use cans, but here I'm using we have some things over here. So I just grab these things and just put them on there. So I'll grab this, bring it over, and put that here. See, and then it holds it in place while I'm cutting. So I just start cutting here, and it keeps it from moving around when I'm cutting it. So again, to just review a little bit, you wash your cloth, and then you fold it in half like this, and then you put the pieces out. You lay them out according to what's in the plan. Usually they'll give you a plan inside of your and by the way, you can see how to make this shirt online. This guy shows you how to make this shirt. He has a video, and it's called a sew along. So when you see patterns that say sew along, you can buy them and then go on the internet, and they kind of briefly show you, how to put it together. They do it kind of quickly. You kind of have to know how to sew already to some extent, but they have videos to show you how to sew too. But it helps a lot if you know how to sew. But see, in these directions, you can read the directions really well, and you learn a lot from the directions too. But you can see here, they're showing the layouts, the ways you could put this, depending on the size of your fabric. And I just laid this out without looking at this, so I might have been able to get it a different way, but I have enough fabric for this, so it's not a problem. I like it. And so here they're showing that this is the printed side down. So when you see like the dark here, and then it's down, and then and then they show you different collar options that you could use. But I'm using, well, because I'm able to get it all in one, so I'm going to put mine right there, so the way that I did it. So these are the directions. So when you start, after you cut it out, then you start to put the thing together. And, so you start out with your stay stitching. You stitch along here with a first to hold the collar in place, and then you fold these and do this stitching along here, and that's what these pattern lines are right here on this piece. You see I drew here, so that's the folding of this. You see, and then both sides on this particular shirt are folded. Now you could fold it two different ways, I think. You know, I haven't done it that way, but I did it the way that they showed, so it's like this. But you could actually turn it around like this, and you could have it so that this is totally showing, so that you see more of a pleat here. So that's like an option. So if you folded it the other direction, it would be like that. And the collar, I think, is a little bit, I might make it a little more pointy than this one. Just a hair more pointy. This one's okay. I like it as I guess it's a new style to have it, you know, closed and small. But I'm thinking that if you just add a little bit here, it might be better. And then on this one, my shoulders, the seam allowance is like 3/8 on each side, right? But somehow I didn't cut off enough, and so I think, and I should have been about right here to get a perfect fit. So from right here to here is actually what my shoulder is. And then so this kind of droops over the shoulder a bit. So I'm going to probably modify that as I cut it. And so that's it. And then here's the inside. I think so. That's about all the components of this. So now we're going to have fun. I'm going to drink my espresso that I made here, even though it's late at night and I should be going to sleep. I'll probably do a little bit of cut this shirt out at least before I go to sleep. So y'all have a good day, and if you like this video, go ahead and press like and subscribe.